Hello and welcome to the Manchester United vs Southampton match review. Now, this is going to be a very, very different review than I normally do because we're actually going to be talking about a lot more than just the performances and whatnot. There was some decisions in the game that United fans are very upset about. So we're going to be talking about them, talking about people's opinions and how fucking bad they are. And I also did come across Mark Goldbridge stuff. Normally, he is pretty decent, with his opinions, but he's clearly biased and reactionary from this because I have watched some of his match reaction stuff and I think he's absolutely just horribly wrong, which is understandable. As a United fan, you might be watching this, completely understand you being upset at, dropping points at home to 20th place and whatnot and thinking the world's against you, but newsflash, it isn't. And we're going to go through some stuff and I'm going to explain why and I'm going to basically debunk everything that you guys are saying. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to play this clip of Mark Goldbridge. Hopefully it doesn't fucking get me banned or something. I'm sure it wouldn't. We're going to play this clip of what he said about the red card and then we're going to be talking about it and basically just debunking his entire opinion.
Casemiro, red card, no. Absolutely not. And I'm going to tell you why. Anthony Taylor gives a yellow card for it. He sees it. He says it's a yellow card. Andre Mariner, who's the VAR referee, says, you might want to look at it. I think it's a red card. Anthony Taylor looks at it in slow motion because we all live life in slow motion, don't we? Why that stupid rule still exists. I mean, look, if anybody is listening, stop getting your referees to look at things in slow motion. It doesn't happen in slow motion. You should look at a tackle in real time because that's what the player sees. How unfair is it to look at a tackle in slow motion? It automatically doubles the guilt of the player because in slow motion, everything looks bad. You should play it in real time so that you can see what it was like for the player and why they made the tackle in the first place.
So you've seen that. He's talking about how they use slow motion to sort of show severity of tackle and stuff. And I do agree to an extent that slow motion can make it look worse than it is. But for me, someone with just common sense and logic, you don't need slow motion to see that's a fucking red. Studs have hit, mid-calf, bounced off the ball, and you could say, well, he's won the ball first. Newsflash, he's gone into the challenge with studs up. And he's running the risk. It's a poor decision of tackle. He's running the risk of potentially causing harm. He shouldn't have the studs up. And then because he's had his studs up, he's not 100% got part of the... He's got part of the ball, not 100% of it, and it's bounced up in his leg. If you seriously watch that and don't think that's a red, I don't know what to say. I really don't. It's literally the fucking definition of a dangerous, out-of-control tackle. I don't know what you want from me. And second part of this is the actual fucking contradiction. It's quite funny, actually. So he said here, slow motion, we shouldn't be using it, makes it worse, which I agree with part-time. But how can you come in and say, oh, slow motion, you can't use this, blah, 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 and then proceed to tweet this, which is literally you saying, we need them to use slow-mo for the penalty for Rashford. It's mind-blowing. You say here, this is exactly what VAR is there for, and one time they need to use slow-mo to see the contact, they don't. So now they have to slow-mo to see contact. Are you... hello? Contradiction much? You can't say, nah, they shouldn't be using slow-mo for this red card, and then proceed to go, they should use slow-mo for this penalty, just so they can see the contact, because in real time, as you said, Mark Goldbridge, in real time is what matters. And I agree. Real time is what matters. In real time, Casemiro studs up his fucking calf. And you may think, oh, well, they needed slow motion to make that decision. Well, they shouldn't have, because it's fucking obvious. He studded his calf, and it's a red. And now you're saying, oh, but how about we need to use slow motion to see the contact Rashford? No, how about we watch it in real time and see that there's no contact? It's contradicting, and it's fucking stupid, and I'm actually surprised. I was very surprised when I went on Twitter and saw this. I scrolled through his feed, looking at the reactions and stuff, and I was blown away with how fucking contradictory that is. It's ridiculous. You can't ask for something and then proceed to go, well, actually, we shouldn't use it here. Make your mind up. It's one or the other. They use it or they don't. You can't have fucking either way that would 100% be better for Manchester United. You cannot have that opinion. You cannot say that. That is absolutely bias. You cannot say, well, they can't use slow-mo for this because it would make it worse on Casemiro, but we have to use slow-mo on this because it makes it worse for Gavin Bazunu. Nice. That's fucking stupid opinion. It's really just actually dumb. And I'm disappointed in Mark, because normally I'm a big advocate that Mark Goldbridge most of the time has good opinions, but it's absolutely ridiculous, this first opinion. This is going to be another clip from his reaction video, just so, you know, you get context on what I'm talking about.
So Andre Marriner makes Anthony Taylor turn that from a yellow to a red. 24 hours ago, no red card for 3 tackles worse. So anybody who sat there going, well, it is a red card, Mark, it's not. Because Andre Marriner has changed the rules in 24 hours. You can't do that in a game week. It's inconsistent, it's a farce, it's a joke, and the same person cannot change their mind 24 hours later and give red cards for things he wasn't giving red cards for yesterday. It's corrupt, it's unfair, and it's massively undermined a game of football in the most watched league in the world.
He also, after this clip, I'm not going to show it, but he also goes after this clip and talks about consistent refs, and VAR's not the issue, it's the refs in charge, and I completely agree. I've said it since day one, since VAR's been involved, it's never VAR's fault. The idea of VAR is good. It's the fucking idiots that are in charge of it that literally, I do agree to some extent, make it up as they fucking go. I mean, we've all seen howlers of offside decisions, we've all seen howlers of red cards, we've all seen howlers of handballs, and howlers of penalties. We've all seen them, and they come out at the end of the season going, well, yeah, we got it wrong. How can you get it wrong? You have 15,000 fucking opportunities to replay it. How do you get it wrong? But what he does say here, which is what I saw a lot on Twitter and a lot from people, and it's the same shit every single time. It's the same story of, well, it didn't happen in this game, so it doesn't happen in this game. Or, newsflash for you geniuses on Twitter, and I guess Mark Goldbridge in this case, people get it wrong. I've seen one of the challenges, I think, in this game, and it was a red. That doesn't mean that the next game, when there's a reckless challenge, it shouldn't be a red, because this game didn't have the red. That is absolutely stupid. So now I basically can say, every time there's a penalty given against Southampton, every time there's a red card given against Southampton, anytime there's a handball or fucking whatever, I can just say, well, let me go and let me shoot it out. Oh, this didn't happen. This happened in this game, and it wasn't given, so therefore it shouldn't have been given. That's the stupidest opinion I've ever heard. And now this analogy might be a bit fucking dark and serious, but let's have this. One judge is hovering over a murderer. He's murdered someone. There's proof. He's murdered someone. By law, he should be in jail. Oh, we let him free for whatever reason, right? Oh, and then the next guy who murdered someone was like, well, you let him free for murder. Why am I getting in jail? Because it's the fucking law still. That fuckwit made a mistake. And he made a mistake against Leicester. That shit happens. And you can fucking call him out for it. There's no bloody issue with that, because their refereeing in England is trash. And we all know it is. There's so many decisions every single week that you're sitting there like, how the hell have they got that wrong? And again, this week there was with the Leicester game. So I don't understand this fucking narrative that because it's happened in another game and it hasn't been given, then therefore in the next game it shouldn't be given. It's absolutely fucking stupid. And he goes on to talk about how, oh, well, you know, yesterday he refereed this game and he said these weren't red cards, and today he's refereed this game and said that's a red card. Maybe because the refereeing panel said, you got those fucking horribly wrong. Those are reds. And you need to switch it up, because it literally happened in the Southampton game. Southampton versus Wolves. The referee, probably the worst ref I've actually ever seen officiate a Southampton game, sent off Lamina for nothing. And I was so confused at the time. I thought he like punched someone off camera. It was ridiculous. He got second yellow for literally walking, or I guess jogging over to the ref. I don't know how that's even possible. But he gave about like 15 yellow cards in the first half. Yellow carding fucking everyone for everything. Second half, he gave none. Gave no yellow cards. Because clearly the referee panel or someone in charge was like, Jesus fucking Christ, what the fuck was that? Those were shocking decisions and you need to sort it out. That shit happens. That literally happens. They come out all the time and drop referees for poor performances. It happens all the time. The problem is the pool of referees are so fucking shit that you've gone, this guy fucking sucks. We need to replace him. There's no one else. They're all the fucking same. They're all shit. It's very rare you watch a game of football, and obviously, I really only watch Southampton. I might watch the highlights of other games because obviously I'm in New Zealand, so all the games are at 2 a.m. and I'm not fucking watching everything, right? So a majority of games, there is referees that I personally, especially for Southampton, have not seen a good refereeing performance. It is extremely rare. You know what's... it's actually rarer than an Elanusi good performance. That's a Southampton joke if you wanted to know. It is ridiculous. The refereeing fucking suck. And I agree. The refs are fucking shit. But you cannot have these sort of wild biases. It's ridiculous. Now, I'm not fucking going through the whole 30 minutes and picking out clips of Mark Goldbridge's opinions. I'm not a fucking weirdo that's going to watch this whole thing and whatever. I watched about 5 minutes. I was like, there's a couple things I want to talk about, sure. So, we'll talk about the other penalties. Walker Peters apparently fouls Bruno when he wins the ball. I don't know how that logic works. He literally wins the ball. I saw people telling him that he should have been sent off for that as well. And that's just, it's understandable. You guys are reactionary people. You guys are like, well, we've been corrupted. It's robbed. If this is a red card and that wasn't, and it shouldn't have been a red card, then these should have been penalties because they weren't given. And it's just like, oh, the whole world's against us, whatever. It's not true. It was a clean tackle. All right, second one, handball. Now, I do agree the handball rules are fucking stupid because half the time, every game, every week, something's handballed and it's like, well, is it or isn't it? No one fucking knows because they change the rules every bloody week. Before it was handball in a build-up, no matter where it is, it did hours ago, and then they turned that over, and then it was like, well, now it can deflect off your body. Well, but now it kind of can't in certain instances. Oh, if you're jumping and your hand's like this, and oh, well, he doesn't have reaction time. Oh, he's not looking at the ball. So, what the fuck is handballs? I don't know. I can understand the frustrations with that because I could probably see that being given somewhere else, I guess. But for me personally, you don't have to share my perspective. It's not a handball. It's not a penalty. He's literally falling to the ground. And it's not as if his hands are like outstretched like this. He's like this and it's hit his hand. It's more close to the body. And it sort of ricochets slightly off, I guess, his chest or his stomach or whatever the fuck it was, or his thigh. I don't know. And I would just say that's not a pin. That's my opinion, I guess. And then the third one is hilarious. Now, obviously, we saw Mark Goldbridge talk about it and saying, well, we need slow-mo to see the contact, which is fucking stupid because there's no contact. You see it in real time and thinking that's a clear layer. I don't know if it was a dive because he did trip over himself, so I guess it wasn't a dive. He didn't actually throw himself to the floor. He did trip him over himself. But you can't be serious and watch that and think that's a Stonewall penalty. You're kidding. If that's a pen, fucking everything is. Because there's basically no fucking contact. It's absolutely ridiculous. Now, let's be honest, United fans, if you're watching. I don't know if you are. Let's be completely honest with each other. Let's be good, okay? If those decisions were Southampton did it to you, you would fucking lose it. If Southampton did that challenge against Casemiro and it wasn't a red, you'd be fucking throwing your arms up, crying like a little child. If the handball was against you guys, and it was given, you'd complain about it being fucking ridiculous. Same with the other two pens. It's all bias. You guys, and I don't want to call out United fans, as a single thing because obviously not everyone thinks the same, have different perspectives. But it's not just United fans. It is fans in general are so lost in the fucking biases of their own world and fantasy realm that they create for themselves that everything is against them and every decision that goes against their club is corruption and it's ridiculous. Fun fact, literally every single club fans react the same way. It could be the most obvious Stonewall pen, obvious Stonewall red card, and it goes against your team, and whether you win the game or lose the game, it doesn't really matter. And they'll go and try and make something up that makes it seem not like a red or not a penalty. They go into their own fantasy imagination and they start fucking flinging things out like a fucking child throwing his bloody toys out the pram. It is ridiculous. For once, if you are watching this video and you're fucking and you're fucking mad at me or whatever the fuck, I don't care. How about this? All right? How about you ignore the fact that they're wearing United kit or ignore the fact that they're wearing Southampton kit and just look at it. If this was Chelsea versus Arsenal and, I don't know, Kante did that challenge against fucking Odegaard or something, what would your opinion be? Would you still think it's a red? Would you still think it's not a red? Because I would be interested to know, because for me personally, I don't take the biases of Southampton into account. I really don't, because at the end of the day, I'm watching a game of football that has a set of rules, and the rules are, that's a red, those aren't pens. That's not very difficult to comprehend, but obviously the world's against you. Now, obviously, you guys will be watching thinking, oh, you're just a Southampton fan. You're just biased to Southampton. And sure, I guess, I'm a small channel, you probably have never heard of me at all, I'm just fucking talking about nonsense, I guess. But if you actually had watched You know, I don't need to tell you to watch my stuff. If you don't want to, fucking don't. I don't care. But if you were interested to know how I have opinions on football, you'd realise that I'm not a biased Southampton fan. I am literally just a person who sees it as it is. If it's a red, it's a red. If it's not, it's not. Examples off memory: Jesus against us should have been a pen for Arsenal, even though it wasn't given. It was a Stonewall penalty, and they obviously raged about that. Obviously, Mario Lemina's red card against us was fucking outrageous and probably the stupidest and most outrageous red card I've ever seen in my entire life, and it was a disgrace to refereeing. And honestly, that's about all I've got for you off the top of my head because I've only been up for about an hour. And the last thing I want to talk about in terms of these fucking fans and whatnot is some outrageous things that have happened. It does blow my mind when things don't go your way in a game. And obviously it's a minority, right? I'm not talking about the whole club. I'm not talking about every single fan. If you're watching this, it may not be you. It probably isn't you because it's a small minority. But I do not understand. You can be upset. But I do not understand going to black players' Instagram accounts and being fucking racist. That shit fucks me off. Is there literally no morals in you? There's no fucking understanding that everyone is just a fucking human? It is fucking outrageous. They played a football game. A fucking sport. A fucking sport. Shit happens in sport that's out of fucking control. Has Walker Peters done anything wrong? You may think it's a penalty when it's not. Okay, so what, you can call him into it? Is that allowed, is it? Is that okay? To just fucking racially abuse someone because they made a tackle that you deem not okay. Fucking disgraceful. It is absolutely fucking ridiculous, and that has pissed me off majorly because it happened against fucking Mara as well after the Chelsea game where there was an accident where I think Mara went for a bicycle kick and Azpilicueta went to header it, and it was an unfortunate accident, whatever, right? And Azpilicueta ended up good, and then he's okay. That's good. And then Chelsea fans come out and be racially abusing Mara on Instagram and whatnot. And it's fucking ridiculous. Do people like that actually have the lowest fucking IQs possible? That they can't fucking comprehend that it's just a fucking human? It's just a person? Who gives a fuck if they're black, brown, fucking Asian, white? No one gives a fuck. Well, you shouldn't. You really shouldn't give a flying fuck what they look like. It's all about their personality and decisions. Did he mean to kick Azpilicueta in the head? No. It was an accident. Did Kyle Walker-Peters mean to win the ball? Yes. And he did. And it's not a penalty. Doesn't mean you be fucking racist. That's fucked me off. That is seriously fucked me off because it is such a fucking brain-dead, stupid thing to do. I'm not a person who comments hate. Whether that's, I hate your fucking videos, you're a mug. I don't do that shit because it's fucking cringe. It is actually, you're going out of your way to comment on someone that you could easily not watch or not look at. I could easily close this Mark Goldbridge video right now and have a fucking great time watching a stream or watching some anime or watching a movie. I could do whatever the fuck I want. I could go outside. I could go for a walk. I could do whatever I want, but no. People just have to comment hate just because they're fucking, I don't know, chronically online and they can't function. I don't know. It's just weird. Like, I hate things all the time. Like, I'll watch a video and think, fuck, this guy's a mug. I hate this guy. And then I forget about it the next day because I've closed the video because it's pissed me off and I'm like, I'm not watching this guy. He's a fuckwit. I'll leave. Like, it's not fucking hard. So why can't people just not comment fucking hateful things on Walker Peters' Instagram? And it's not just racial. It is people saying, I hope you break your legs. I hope you fucking die. I hope, I saw someone say, I hope you tore your ACL. And all this shit. Are you actually okay? I know you're upset. You dropped points to arguably the worst team in the league this season. I get it. You're upset. But fucking hell, have some actual human decency and actually, like, have a fucking, I don't know, a soul, I guess, instead of just being a fucking chronically online fucking loser who just comments hate for no reason because you can't comprehend that people actually, like, have lives outside of the internet, but you're apparently just dwelling on Reddit or something, commenting on fucking people's ethnicities, because that's always cool. But that's what I want to talk about when it comes to the Twitter posts and stuff. Obviously, there's probably more I could have talked about, but fuck me. It's already like 15, 20 minutes in. Fuck that shit. I don't normally make reviews and previews this fucking long, so I'm already fucking bored of talking about it. But I think I got my point across that, You can think it's that or whatever, but at the end of the day, let's shut up about corruption, because it's just fucking boring, honestly. The amount of decisions, big clubs, like, holy fucking hell, bro. United acting as if we're never going to get a penalty. We're never going to get decisions. You get decisions, brother. Are we forgetting the Man City game where you got the most offside goal I've ever seen in my entire life and it was given, you won the game? Are you forgetting that? Did the refs go, oh no, we're not going to do corruption this week, man. It's our week off. No, that's just not how it works. They're just shit refs, bro. They're just shit refs. Stop crying about every decision you deem that hasn't gone your way. Trust me, as a Southampton fan, we've had stupid decisions all the time. Do you remember the Carabao Cup final where they gave Gabardini offside when he was onside by about a metre because Bertrand, who was running horizontally behind him, was offside by about a foot? And they gave it offside. That's crazy. It's as if it went your way or something. That's wild. In a cup final. That's crazy. And yes, I'm upset about it because that was the only time I've seen us in a cup final my entire life, and I'm kind of upset about it, and I don't think we'll ever reach one again for the next 15 years. So, there you go. But let's talk about Southampton. Woo! Alright, if you're still watching this, I don't know what you're doing with your life because that's cringe. Anyway, talking about Southampton, let's go. I think we played pretty good. Obviously, the red card completely changed the landscape of the game. Deservedly red. I would say before, I actually thought, bear with me, I actually thought we played better before the 10 men in the first half. I think the 10 men sort of rocked us a little bit. I don't know why. I guess Nathan Jones is right about the detriment to playing against 10 men. I do think we were pretty good for the first few minutes, but the issue is that every time we play, it's we get into the good areas, we get into the good positions, and we're fucking awful. Our choice selection of cross pass, whatever, when to shoot, how we shoot. Theo Walcott 1v1 was the most half-assed effort I've ever seen. Anyone with a little, I guess, confidence or whatnot would run across the defender and then it's opened you up the whole goal. There is no left-footed shot that can really only go a certain place if you hit it well. If you run across that defender, you have the whole goal. You can go across, you can go far, you can fucking chip him, you can do whatever the fuck you want, you can meg him if you wanted to. And it's just like that encompasses Southampton's poor clinicalness when it comes to attacking. We are fucking awful. And I will say, I agree with a lot of people that said Big Paul should have come on when we were dominant around their box for, I think it was like 60th minute maybe. I do agree with that because I feel like we can't even open up a team that's open. So how the fuck are we going to open up a team that is trying to be more defensively structured because they're down to 10 men? How the fuck are we going to open them up? We're awful. We're awful at attacking. We're awful at creating chance in the final third. And I feel like Big Paul coming in, being a bit of a physical threat, a bit of height, could have caused a lot more issues. Even if it's just him being there, it sort of draws the attention of some players, you know? Because you're thinking, fuck, he's a big cunt. I better fucking stick to him. And then it opens up a little bit of space somewhere else. I do think that was a main thing. Obviously, Elanusi not playing is a gift from God. But I do think we played overall pretty well. Obviously, if they didn't get the red card, say Casemiro never did a stupid challenge, would we have won the game or drawn the game? Maybe not. I don't think so. I think United definitely had good chances. And a little bit of great keeping from Gabardini. So I'd like to know what the Bazunu haters are doing now, because it's sort of like he has a great game against Chelsea, doesn't particularly do anything wrong against Leeds, it's more defensive issues, gets blamed like a fucking crazy person, is said to get dropped, and then plays against Leicester. I mean, he didn't really do anything because Leicester just missed the goal the whole time from good chances, and then it's this game and he was excellent again, and it's sort of like, you do realise that majority of the goals we've conceded are not particularly his fault. It's because of the defensive issues that we have. No one marks, no one can just follow a runner, no one can clear a ball, no one can make logical decisions in areas. Benrat will try pass it out when there's no options. It's just shit like that. Lianco fucking around it, or was it Fulham, was it? When the ball's going around, it's like, I'm going to let it bounce. It's like, you never let it bounce, never. I learnt this when I was fucking 12. You never let the ball bounce in those sort of areas. And it's sort of like, that is the issue with Southampton. It's not so much, Bazunu's fault or whatever. It's the lack of concentration. I think we've improved greatly, right? 3 cliches of 4 is brilliant. I think we've improved greatly at that under Sellers, and that's good, right? I mean, you can't get much worse than Jones, but That's much better, right? It does feel like we're more concentrated, we're more structured. That's brilliant, right? And against Leeds, we weren't, right? And that was the reason we lost. But the thing is with that is that it's the attack that's the issue. I think Lavia, Alcaraz, Ward-Prowse midfield is going to be our fucking saviour. I think a 4-2-3-1 with them three in the middle is excellent. Alcaraz as a 10 is good. He was a little bit wayward with his touches, but he did do overall decent, right? But it's more the attack. Who scores the goals? Who scores the goals? We had good chances. Sulemana was getting in behind. That was probably the best Sulemana performance in a while. He was really getting in behind and attacking, being direct, which was good. Especially in the first half. Second half, not as much. It was more Perot's overlapping. But I do think it was a good performance. It was something to build off. Obviously, it does feel like a slight missed opportunity to not get all 3 points because obviously down to 10 men United. But at the end of the day, it is still United. Their players are brilliant. I mean, every player in their starting 11 would most likely start for us. I mean, maybe Ward-Prowse would sneak in. That's about it. Maybe Walker-Peters, I guess, as well. So we can't really complain about that. I mean, let's be honest, if you're going into this game expecting a win, I don't know what crazy pills you were on. But I think majority of us would have taken a point before kickoff, so you kind of have to accept that. Yes, I understand the frustrations that it kind of feels like maybe drop points, but at the end of the day, it is a point and it's something. And then I saw on Twitter people going, oh, it doesn't mean anything, we're still last. It's like, but we're closer by a point against a United team that most teams around us would probably lose to at home. So I don't know why we're complaining. But yeah, so that's the video. I basically just wanted to talk about the hypocrisy and just the stupidity of some of the things I saw online. It is quite mind-blowing how biased people are. And it's always been that way. It's not something that suddenly happened. It's the social media sort of thing. It allows people that are so reactionary. And it's not just United. It is Southampton as well. I've seen many times, especially under the Ralph Hasenhüttl era, where Hasenhüttl would do something and they'd be like, no, you should do this. Then he does that. And then it doesn't work. And they're like, why'd you do that? And then it's just like, Jesus Christ, he'll play someone. Everyone's like, he has to play every week. And they play him next week and he should. And they're like, why'd you play him? It's just sort of like everyone thinks they know more than the manager. Which, I mean, you can tell when someone's a bad manager, like Nathan Jones, right? Just because of the way he comes across, the way he speaks and the way he talks about himself. It's sort of like he was trying to make up for the insecurities he's had on his ability to manage his team. So it's sort of like those sort of things you can pick up, but the reaction areas just needs to stop. It needs to stop. We're still alive. There's still, 12 games left or something, or 11 games left. We're 2 or 3 points in, or 4 points. I don't fucking know, actually. We're a few points in. And it's not exactly over. We have Brentford on Thursday, massive game. I'll do a preview for that probably tomorrow. I don't know. I was going to do it today, but I started ranting against Mark Goldbridge and the United fans, so it is what it is. But yeah, it's a massive game, and we just need, every game's a cup final. We need points desperately. That's about it. But yeah, that was a long one. I am fucking over this already. I just want to shut up. My fucking throat's getting dry. I've got to edit some fucking videos, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. Like and subscribe if you did, and if you're a United fan still watching after all this time, you may need help, because why the fuck are you watching 30 minutes of me talk shit? But yeah, like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys on Tuesday night stream.